Yeah, see, I got me an idea, and I'ma put it to work, and I'ma gauge my progress by the sign of the word. Now I ain't yet a success, but yes, the word that I stress, cause by the time
it's been a long
CD,
time. I shouldn't have left you without a strong rhyme to step two, step two, step to step two. Check it out, y'all. Here we go. Once again, it's another Make It Happen Monday, right? Now, it's been a couple weeks, man. It's been a couple weeks. And I understand that you probably sitting there like, yo, man, this dude was on a roll, right? I think I hit you with like 13 Make It Happen Mondays in a row. And then I went radio silence for 2 weeks, right? Listen, and that is what it is that my message is going to be surrounded today, right? It's going to be all about that, right? Now, I still got two more points for you, right? But first, we're going to start it off with why it was I was gone and what that really means, right? And you may have to do the same thing. So let's get into it, right? Check this out. My goal was to perpetuate positivity, right? And it still is. And I will continue to perpetuate positivity. And check me out. I've been perpetuating positivity even in these last 2 weeks that I haven't been around on social media, right? I've just been continuing to perpetuate positivity with everyone I see, with anybody who I encounter, I interact with, whether it be through social media, whether it be through email, whether it be in person. And for me, that bread and butter, man, I'm telling you, the one that feels the best is that in person, that personal connection. You know what I'm saying? And that can manifest itself in anything. You know what I mean? Holding the door open for somebody, buying somebody a cup of coffee when you see them at the store, right? And that's what I like doing a lot. You know what I'm saying? I'll go and I'll look, I'll see two people behind me about to get a cup of coffee or something like that. I'll be like, yo, buy them their cup of coffee. And I won't even say nothing. You see what I'm saying? And then I'll just break out. Again, just perpetuating positivity, you know? You never know when somebody's going to be like, wow, that was pretty cool. And it's something small like a cup of coffee, right? Matter of fact, let me tell you a story. When I did this, I started doing this a few years back, right? And I always used to do it at my, there's a Stewart's store right by my house. And every morning before I would go to work, I would stop there at the Stewart's and I'd buy myself a cup of coffee. I'd look back, I'd check it out. I'd be like, yo, here go, $6 or whatever. Nothing big. Buy the next 2 or 3 people. I think a cup of coffee was like $2 a large. You know what I'm saying? So I'd be like, buy the next 3 people a cup of coffee or whatever, right? They'd be like, all right, cool. So when I came back the next day to do it again, the lady at the register was like, yo, you couldn't have picked a better person to buy a cup of coffee for. And I was like, why? What happened? And she said the last person, or I think it was the first person that you bought a cup of coffee for, it was this lady whose husband had just passed away, and they would always come in every morning and have a cup of coffee, and the husband would buy her a cup of coffee, and she was, and she was like making jokes about how she's a kept woman. There's an older lady, you know what I mean? She's a kept woman, and she's a trophy wife or whatever, you know what I'm saying? It was a good, nice little funny relationship, and they would have that relationship discussed with the lady behind the counter, you know what I'm saying? And then when I left, that lady ended up coming up on her own. And she bought the cup of coffee, or she was gonna buy the cup of coffee. She poured it, she prepared it, she went up to the register, and the lady was like, yo, the gentleman who was here before you, he bought the cup of coffee for you. And she was like, oh, she started coming to tears. She was like, I'm still a kept woman, all this stuff like that. However it is that she took it in her brain, it was a positive thing. You know what I'm saying? So perpetuate positivity. And you ain't got to do it with cash. You know what I'm saying? That's not what I'm talking about. I'm just saying that was something that I did. That was something that's something that I enjoyed doing, and that was that, right? But so Pablo, where were you the last couple weeks? Well, so I ain't trying to be no, Donnie Downer or whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? But there was a health issue that came up in my family, right? So I had to tend to that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you noticed, but I got like 35 kids. I'm messing around. I got 4 kids, right? And the attention had to get drawn off of what it is that I do here for everybody on social media, and I had to go ahead and focus on the health issue that was going on in my family. You know what I'm saying? So how is that, right? Pablo, you missed to watch me make it happen. How is it that, you missed to watch me make it happen? You said you were going to be perpetuating positivity. You was going to hit us up with these Make It Happen Mondays, and now all of a sudden you're not doing it, right? Some people, I could see how that's kind of like a conundrum, right? And people say, oh, you being fake, you being this, you being whatever, the other thing, right? Nah, I'm not, you know what I'm saying? Because in life, you got priorities, right? And last time we was here, I talked about writing a task list, right? So that you can prioritize that and do one thing at a time, you know what I'm saying? Because nobody, no matter how much people say that they can multitask, you ain't really multitasking at the highest the ability of being able to perform your duties, whatever it is that you determine your duties to be, right? Because you're never going to be able to give that full 100% if you're doing 2 separate things. You see what I'm saying? So my priority, right, is God, my family. See what I'm saying? And then we can go down from there, right? So if you think about it, you know, they call it like circling the wagons, right? When you getting attacked, you know what I'm saying? Back in the day, I think cowboy and Indian type times, you know what I'm saying? I think that's where that terminology came from. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but at least you understand my analogy here, right? And they say circling the wagons, right? Why? Because they try to protect within that circle. You see what I'm saying? They get everybody within that circle, or at least inside of that perimeter, so that way, you know, you got all the protection of the wagons all around you. Arrows be coming in, you know, they'll get caught up in the top part of the wagon or whatever, or even on the sides there. But it's less likely that you're going to get in to that circle, because that's where it is that you're protecting. You're protecting that perimeter. You see what I'm saying? So that's what we had to do. We had to cover down. You know what I'm saying? The whole family had to cover down, and we had to guard that perimeter. You know what I'm saying? Because what's most important is the family itself, right? And you know, I look at it as, you know, when you're on a plane, right? And they say, I don't know if it's because of over-pressurization, under-pressurization, whatever, but when the things come down, you're supposed to put the mask on yourself first, right? Before you can go ahead and help other people, right? I felt I cannot perpetuate positivity through this social media medium, you know what I'm saying, properly or effectively, if I got to do something else here with my family at a high level. You see what I'm saying? So I knew I was always going to come back to y'all, and as you can see, I am, right? But take this lesson that I'm talking to you guys about, right, and take it for yourselves. It's not a problem. You see what I'm saying? I don't consider this a failure that I wasn't able to talk to y'all for the last 2 weeks. You see what I'm saying? And on the contrary, I look at it as a success, because now here we go 2 weeks later, and listen, the health problems are still there, right? You know what I'm saying? But they're not there full blast. You know what I'm saying? We working through it. You see what I'm saying? The stress has been minimized to a certain extent in the family. You see what I'm saying? So it allows us to be able to continue to do what it is that we was normally doing. You know what I'm saying? There was a disturbance in the force. We had to tend to it, right? So there might be something that you're doing on a regular basis that you enjoy doing. That's a positive thing, you know what I'm saying? That is adding value to you and those around you. But sometimes you may have to take a pause for the cause, right? And regroup real quick so that you can stay being that productive, that powerful, that motivated you. You see what I'm saying? So that you can continue to shine that light on the world as you were shining it before. You see what I'm saying? And it's okay. It's all good, right? Just make sure you get back up and make sure you dust yourself off, and then you can go ahead and continue to shine. You see what I'm saying? So another example that I had is, and I don't even know, right? Because like I always tell you, I ain't a scientist, I ain't a biologist, I ain't a doctor, I ain't none of that, right? But I believe, like, you know, when you go out in the cold and all that, right? What are the first things that end up getting cold on you, right? Your extremities, your fingers, your toes, stuff like that, your ears, you know what I mean? And I believe it's because your body makes sure that the core is getting what it needs, right? Because this is what you need to live, right? You know, you can chop a finger off and you can still live fine, right? You know what I'm saying? You could be, I mean, think about it, you know what I'm saying? I'm a veteran, you know, I know for a fact that I've seen people who have lost limbs and continue to live. You see what I'm saying? It's very difficult to not have blood pumping from your heart and still be alive. And the reason why I say difficult, my mind isn't possible, you know what I'm saying? But I know that they got science that's getting developed as we speak, and who knows, you know what I'm saying? But anyways, it's real difficult when anything around this area here ends up going down for you to keep on living. You know what I'm saying? So I look at my hand, very important. I need it. I want it. It allows me to be productive. It allows me to be able to be powerful and get a whole bunch of things done, right? But I can live without my hand, you know what I'm saying? And that's the same thing, is that I enjoy coming up on here and giving you guys this Make It Happen Mondays and giving you y'all daily motivation and perpetuating positivity into the world, right? Because not only do I enjoy it, but I feel like the world needs it, right? This is how it all started when I did it on Facebook, right? I said, hey, I'm going to do this and see what happens, you know what I'm saying? But I can live without it. You see what I'm saying? I can't, I mean, I can, right? But I don't want to live without my family members. And when a health issue comes up that I need to step up, you know, I'm going to start figuring out where I can stop pumping blood to so that I can keep the core working the way it's supposed to work so that we can keep on going, right? Anyway, take it how you want it, right? That was my explanation. No excuses, because this is not watch me make excuses. This is watch me make it happen, right? And I think that this is a good lesson to be able to internalize. You see what I'm saying? Make sure that when you're doing your task list, right? Like I said, that was point number 1 from the last time that we was here 2 weeks ago, is to make a task list and you prioritize that task list, right? I do it in alphabetical and numerical, right? So I got all my A level tasks. I got all my B level tasks. I got all my C level tasks. A being the highest priority, C being the lowest priority, right? I mean, they can go to D's, E's, and F's, right? But still. And then within each alphabetical categorization, right? I got that A level category. I mean, I can have 15 things in that A-level category, right? Well, then I go ahead and I put it in numerical order, right? So A1, that's the first thing I got to do, right? Or at least the most important thing I got to do. I might not be able to do it at 4 o'clock in the morning, right? But that is a very important thing, and I got to make sure that I get A1 done whenever it is that it's supposed to be done, right? And then I keep on going, A1, A2, A3, A4, A5. And what I do is I take A1 and I put it in the schedule. A2, I put it in the schedule. A3, I put it in the schedule. And I keep on doing that. Once I got all the A's scheduled, then I go to the B's, C's, D's, whatever, right? A1 priority, God and my family. You see what I'm saying? So that's what it is that I had to prioritize, and everything else just got kind of shuffled up and we reprioritized it. As you can see, it's still a very high priority, and that's why we're here today, right? So anyways, make a task list, prioritize it, do one thing at a time. That was 1 and point 2, right? So we got point 3, okay? Point 3, what we want to do is after we got that task list, we're doing one thing at a time. We want to make sure that we're doing gradual improvements, right? Too many people sit here and they think like, yo, I gotta wake up at 4 in the morning, right? Or I gotta have a perfect diet, or I need to start exercising, or I need to stop smoking, or whatever it is, right? Gradual improvements. You know what I'm saying? Let's take the waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning thing. But you wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning. You wake up at 9 o'clock in the morning, right? Set it so that this week you wake up at 8:55. Set your alarm clock so that this week, every day you wake up at 8:55. Next week, 8:50. The following week, 8:45. The next week, 8:40, right? By the end of the year, there's 52.2 weeks in a year. By the end of the year, I'm not going to do the math, but 52 times 5, I don't know, 5 times 2 is 10, 5 times 5 is 25, 200, I think it's like 260, I don't know, but whatever it is. You a whole lot of minutes closer to waking up at 4 o'clock. And then just continue to do that, right? Like I said, you ain't trying to eat, you know how they say you eat an elephant, right? How can you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. If you know me, you know I always say little by little, little by little. Long as I'm moving forward, I'm good. I don't care if they little teeny tiny baby steps. I don't care if I'm waking up 1 minute earlier a day. You see what I'm saying? Or 1 minute earlier a week. As long as I'm moving closer to the prize, I'm good money. You see what I'm saying? And that's all I need to do, right? The next thing is that I want to make sure that y'all do is take a good self-inventory. Without a proper inventory of yourself, I'm telling you, man, you're going to be shooting in the dark. You're going to be shooting in the dark and hoping for the best. And that's not really a good tactical plan. You see what I'm saying? Self-inventory. If you know that you somebody who even at 5 minutes earlier ain't going to be able to wake up, like I said, wake up 1 minute earlier. I mean, I don't know if there's a way to set an alarm clock for 30 seconds earlier than you did before, but man, whatever it is you need to do, be super duper gradual, right? You're the only person who know yourself as well as you know yourself, right? So work within those parameters. See what I'm saying? In the military, we got this thing called AARs, right? After action reviews. So after you guys do something, whether if it's a training, whether if it's a battle, whatever it is, right? You do an after action review, right? And you check to see what went well, what didn't go so well, and where you some areas of opportunities are, right? Do that to yourself. Do that within yourself, right? What is it that I got control over? You know what I'm saying? What is it that I don't have control over, right? And where is it that I can improve? You see what I'm saying? And check to see what skill set you got. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't be sitting here and say, oh yeah, I'm gonna wake up tomorrow and I'm gonna start squatting 500 pounds. Everybody do boop, boop, boop. If it's not in you, it's not in you. And that's a very difficult thing for people, is to sit there and believe that they got some certain inventory, right? Some resources that they have within themselves that they don't really have. You know what I'm saying? Stop fooling yourself, because once you start putting yourself to the test, you're going to realize that you don't have it. Man, that's going to be a sad day, right? So let's not do that. I'm going to leave you with those two. Gradual improvements and take a self-inventory of yourself. Okay, so we got 4 points now. We're going to keep on working. Next week, I'm telling you, we're going to get you 2 more, and we're going to keep it moving, right? But like I said, this summer is about implementation. I'm trying to give y'all actual things that you can do, okay? I motivated you guys all throughout the spring, right? And I'll continue to motivate you because I believe that you can do it, okay? If I can do it, you can do it. Listen, I'm telling you right now, I was living for like 3 months with no power in my house back in the day. I had no electricity. I had no heat, no electricity, okay? If I can pull myself out of that and be living the way I'm living today, right? Having the type of things that I have today, right? And I ain't gonna sit there and try to floss on you and be like, oh, check this out, check that out, right? Because that's not what this is about, okay? Everybody at their own level. Like I said, little by little. But if I can be in that situation, to the situation that I'm in right now, I'm telling you right now, anybody can do it. Because the one thing that I got, okay, is I got that motivation. I got that watch me make it happen inside of me. And that's what I'm trying to pour inside of y'all, is to that you guys can look at yourself in the mirror as well and say, watch me make it happen, right? But I'm telling you, motivation is fleeting, because you're gonna be super duper motivated once you get off this video watching me, right? You could be motivated for the next 10 minutes and then something will happen and it'll curve that whole thing. Hey, play this video again if that's the case, right? But you need to have actionable items to be able to move forward. And once you start getting them victories, woo, that's the best motivation, is when you actually complete something, when you work something and it's at a level that you can be happy and satisfied with. I'm gonna leave you one more story, right? Yesterday, I was having my son, right? I was like, listen, you got to clean the bathroom, man. And he got his own bathroom up there, right? So I was like, yo, you got to make sure the bathroom is clean. And I'm telling you, everything about him was like, right? Because he didn't like doing it. So I went up there and I started doing it with him. I was like, look, you do this, do that, do the other thing. And I started showing him how to do it quickly, how to use least amount of materials, right? Because he would just go up there and just kill like 3 rolls of paper towels, you know what I'm saying? But I showed him how to do it, how to be more productive at it, how to get it done, and how to make it spotless, right? Yo, it took us maybe 30 minutes, you know what I'm saying? Last time when I just had him do it on his own, it took him like an hour and a half. It took him 30 minutes to do it this time. Yo, this kid was so happy with the outcome. He was like, I want to go show mommy. I was like, all right, but before you do, let me ask you something. Why you want to show mommy for? And he was like, because I did this, and it looks good, and I did it myself. And I was like, yup. So check this out. We literally had the crappiest job in the house. You see what I'm saying, right? Crap, bathroom, toilet, right? We had the crappiest job in the house, you know what I'm saying? And he did it, and he was happy about it because he finished it. He completed it. Completion at a high level. I'm telling you, man, that's all the motivation you need right there. You don't even need to watch me no more. You see what I'm saying? Right? And I'm trying to get you to that point. I'll be here whenever you slip up, whenever all of a sudden you need that extra motivation, not even a slip up, but sometimes people just need that extra little pick me up, right? Like that coffee in the morning. I'll be there for you. Okay? But I'm trying to get you to be able to complete things. And the way you're going to do that, follow them first 4 steps at first, right? Make a list. Don't multitask. Focus on one thing at a time, right? Gradual improvements, okay? And then self-inventory. Check it, we're going to continue this whole conversation next week, right? I'm happy to be back.
Ain't no time to think about it, only time to react. Your intuition under pressure, weigh it down on your back. I scribble thoughts in my palm, I sing it when I get home. Organize my inner visions while I'm chilling and calm. A politician's mind state, that means I'm nice on my